What do you say we go ahead and get started then, fellas? Good morning! Happy Monday. If you're watching the recap, probably watching on Tuesday, so happy Tuesday to you. What's up, fellas? Welcome back to PokeMMO. This is PokeMMO Stream Recap, your daily source of tips, tricks, information, and just general discussion of what's happening inside the community. The community is always there's a very hardcore, dedicated community that's always discussing things and figuring out what's happening in PokeMMO, discovering new things, and it's cool. This is a good way to be in touch with that and still be kind of a casual player. You don't have to watch hours and hours of streams every day. Just a 20-minute to 40-minute stream recap. Let's go ahead and jump into it. First things first, we have upcoming events. If you don't know, there's about 2 to 3 catch events hosted every single week within PokeMMO. Now, catch events are events where you generally go to a designated location, catch as many Pokemon as possible of the species designated, and then you turn in either the best or the worst, or submit one Pokemon by DMing that Pokemon to a staff member at the end to try to win a prize. Catch events are amazing because usually you make some Pokeyen along the way by catching 1x31s, 2x31s, you know, good IV Pokemon, selling those, and then you also have a chance to win free RP, free shinies. Like, catch events are amazing for all types of players. Catch events are amazing. Catch events are also just a fantastic way to break monotony. Have you ever done like a 500 hour or a 2,000 hour or fucking even like a 30-hour grind, right? It's nice to break that up with a little 1-hour catch event. So let's just jump into what are the upcoming catch events. There's 2 big ones upcoming, and that's about what I'll talk about. So firstly, let's talk about Safari Week. Safari Week is coming up. Now, Safari Week is not a catch event. Safari Week is not a PokeMMO thing. This is a Safari Week themed Pokemon catch event, but we'll talk about that in a sec. Safari Week is a Pokemon community thing. I believe started by Absol Blog. Someone could correct me. Safari Week, another correction possibly. I believe Safari Week is starting in 2025. On the 20th of June, so on Friday, this Friday, I believe Safari Week begins. And then I believe it goes from the 20th to the 29th, if I'm not mistaken. Someone could correct me. It's already Safari Week again. Yeah, it's crazy. Safari Week is an event in the Pokemon community, where you are just encouraged to go to the Safari Zones in whatever games you play, whether it's PokeMMO, Fire Red, you know, Original, Platinum, Diamond and Pearl, whatever you're playing. You're encouraged to go to those locations and shiny hunt and record your shunts and just see what happens and just have some amazing stories, have some amazing things happen. And there's always some amazing things that happen every Safari Week in Pokemon. So this is a Safari Week themed catch event upcoming in PokeMMO on the 22nd of June, so a little bit into the week. 22nd of June 2025, 11 a.m. ET at the Safari Zone in Kanto. You have 1 hour to catch. And now the beautiful part is you can catch, I think, any Safari Pokemon at all, which is really, 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 really cool. There's Chansey, which gives plus 20 points, obviously an extremely difficult catch. Tauros, which gives plus 15, Kangaskhan plus 15, Marowak, Cubone, Lickitung, Dragonair, Venomoth, Tangela, Pinsir, Scyther, Parasect, Paras, Aduo, Nidorino, Nidoran, Venonat, Krabby, Dratini, Rhyhorn, Execute, Seeking, Slowpoke, Golding, Poliwag, Psyduck, Magikarp. Lots of Pokemon to catch. Lots of different strategies here. Is it better to run back and forth over at the Chansey spot and hope for a good Chansey catch? Is it better to Old Rod for Magikarps and just catch like 60 Magikarps in an hour? And like try to get, you know, there's so many different strategies here to employ, so many different things you could do, and none of them are probably wrong. I'm excited to see who ends up winning this event. First to third place, highest to lowest score as per usual. And there's a shiny Venonat prize up for grabs. Your choice of nature, 2 moves. Always go for egg moves if you can. And then 3 selectable IVs, plus 3 times 20 the other IVs. So a really good IV shiny Pokemon, plus 1,000 RP. And then second, third, and fourth place both get 500 and 250 RP respectively. Okay. That is the Safari Week event, which I'm very excited for. Once again, that is on the 22nd of June. All these details, if you want to see them, are over on the PokeMMO forums. Now, this one, if you are watching this stream recap, I hope you're watching it early. This event, we got very little notice on this. This event happens in a few hours. If you're watching the stream recap on Tuesday, get ready. The event happens at 1 p.m. ET. So I hope you watch the stream recap early. I hope you can make it to this event if you would like to. This event is on Tuesday, the 17th of June. We had very little notice for this. Tuesday, the 17th of June, 1 p.m. ET. Route 208 Sinnoh. I cannot go to this on the Iron Man. I don't have Sinnoh unlocked, boys. So unfortunately, I will miss this one on the Iron Man account. That's a bummer, but it's also the price I pay for not having storylines done. That's my fault, you know? 1 hour to catch as many Ralt, Turtwig, and Machop as possible. Some nature bonuses, and then as well as the first place prize. I really like that they did this. They made it so that you can pick shiny Ralt, Gallade, or Gardevoir. This is really important because some people might want a Curlia for, like, I don't know, an Eevee-like Curlia for some reason. That's kind of cool. I respect it. Maybe they want it to be State of Ralts. Maybe they, you know, maybe they want a Gardevoir Glade. The reason why this is important is it's a gift prize shiny, which means they can't trade it. And they have to like pick the gendered matters, right, on what Pokemon comes out as. So it's actually like really important. It's really important to pick the one that you want, because the one that you pick is probably going to stay in that form forever, if that makes sense. So don't pick a Ralts if you want it to eventually evolve it into a Gallade or a Gardevoir. You might get the wrong gendered one. You don't get to pick gender, I believe. So be careful with that. Make sure you pick the right one if you want. I'm glad they give you the proper options. They haven't always done this. Obviously 1,000 RP, 500 RP, and, you know, extra RP as well for 3rd and 4th place, 2nd place winners. Next up, this is the PokeMMO suggestion box. This is where you can go if you want to give input into the game, give your own thoughts, possible update options, quality of life updates, yada yada yada. Something I notice with MMOs, a lot of people suggest quality of life stuff that isn't actually quality of life stuff. Like saying, oh, we should just get rid of animations or 2 times speed the game. That's not quality of life. That's literally doubling the pace of every activity in the game. That's a massive gameplay change. But this is a perfect example of a genuine quality of life change that is as old as time, and I'm honestly surprised we don't have this yet, and I would just love to see this. I think this is easily the #1 important quality of life update to see in PokeMMO, a in-game PokeMMO encounter counter. It's really that simple. And this guy recommends it in a really interesting way. I've never seen someone recommend it similar to like /playtime in World of Warcraft. He just says, why can't we just type like /encounters? It doesn't need to be like a physical big blob. Like, see how my encounter counter is in the top right up here, right? The 6,719 number. It doesn't need to be some big giant blob number. It doesn't have to be that. It could just be a /encounters thing. And then if you're a content creator like myself, you could still use the GEC and still have that big blob if you want to, right? But /encounters and /shiny hunt to show encounters in Legendary Hunt would be amazing. Like, these would be really simple, really, you know, pretty easy things to add, hopefully, for the devs. I don't know if there's I don't know. I don't know what the... I know it requires dev work, but it can't be that much dev work. Tons of work, I'd assume. I don't know. I've never been a game developer, so I could be wrong. Maybe this requires a lot more dev work than I realize. I love the idea of this. Even if it is a medium... There's no way it's a lot, right? Even if it's a medium amount of dev work, I think this is a really important one. I think this is a priority one. The big thing is... you know, you might ask, it's a fair counter argument. Oh, why would we spend dev time on an encounter counter? We can just install them, you know, we have external mods, right? The biggest argument is that for mobile players, there's no automatic encounter counter for mobile players, and that's a big problem. Mobile players, if you play video games, you understand a lot of people play on mobile. You know, I don't really do that personally, but a lot of people play on mobile. It's a big way for a lot of people to engage in games if you have less time, if you're like on the bus or the train before work, if you're on the way, if you're commuting back and forth between work, if you're at lunch break, like... you know, if you have a kid, you're waiting from the daycare. Like, it's some of the only times people can play PokeMMO is hop on for a few minutes on their phone, right? So it is important to keep that in mind, I think. And the other thing is switching back and forth between different devices. This one does affect me. As someone who plays between desktop and laptop, I'm constantly having to check my other device and update my encounter counter because it's really, because you have to like manually update them, right? So I get some encounters on my desktop, some on the laptop, etc. So that could be a pain. I would love to see an automatic encounter counter in PokeMMO. I think it's a no-brainer, but obviously it comes down to like resources, development time. I feel like that's got to be an easy one, but I mean, even if it isn't, I think it's worth the time, is what I would argue. Hopefully we'll get some news. I would love to see the devs response to like why or why not we don't have an encounter counter yet. My guess would be that it's on the docket, but they have higher priority things, which, you know, yeah, I believe that. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. I'm gonna go ahead and start on my Iron Man today. We're doing another gym rerun, I believe number 4 on the account, which is really cool, and we're doing some legendary hunting, but hopefully spicing up some legendary hunting because that's another whole discussion, is roaming legendaries. That's like I want to say it's not a hot topic for debate, but the PokeMMO devs themselves have said that they actually don't love the way roaming legendaries are implemented, and they don't really want to create more in the future. That was covered in a forum post, I want to say 6 to 18 months ago, about a year and a half or so, within that time frame. they've talked about not wanting to implement more legendaries like that. I think that's a good way to do it. Roaming legendaries are interesting. They do spice up single encounter hunts. They do make some things more interesting. But if you're just running back and forth in grass to go for a roaming legendary, it feels really bad. It really sucks. But if you're like ditto hunting or single encounter shiny hunting and you have that extra, like, oh, the extra cherry on top for the legendary, then it's not a big deal. But a lot of casual players, I think, run back and forth just for the legendary. So something to consider, something to keep in mind and talk about. I'm going to jump into things. I'll see you guys with any good questions from Twitch chat. This is a great question and a great story. Hey, Fat, I played for about 350 hours in the game, and I recently got my first 10 million Pokeyen. Congratulations. And your first shiny. Your first shiny was a Dragonite. Congrats. Those are some of my main goals. How do I turn 10 mil into 100 mil? What I would recommend, it's currently June, right? I know it's the boring answer, it's the patient answer. But if you're someone with 10 to 30 mil Pokeyen, and you're newish to PokeMMO and you want to be intense and take things seriously, I really recommend setting aside a large portion, like 10 mil or 25 mil. I would set aside 25 mil if you can for the upcoming event season. Investing in event season properly is one of the best and safest ways to just increase your wealth in PokeMMO to a ridiculous degree. I always say, like, pretty much all of my wealth on my main account, like 80% of it, was built up by doing a Jimmy run every single day. I fucking didn't kill the Ninetales. Oops. Do a Jimmy run every single day and then made investments. Mysterious balls did wonders for me. Any newly released Mysterious ball is almost always amazing. Now, don't go by. I don't recommend. You can, if you want to, make your own. Please make your own financial decisions. Don't listen to what I'm saying. This is not financial advice. Go make your own decisions. Make your own investments. But in general, the safest investments are buying new Mysterious balls as they're released when they're at their bottom out price. When things come out during event season, the general rule of thumb with event season, if an event lasts 14 days, do not buy anything for the first 5 days, okay? Don't buy shit. That's overpriced. It's excitement. It's kind of like pre-order prices for like trading card games, if you're familiar with that. The excitement's really high. You know, people are blah, 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 right? It's not good. So you want to wait for like 5 days, don't buy anything, and then start buying stuff for like 3 to 5 days, and then also make sure you're done buying stuff for the final 3 to 5. You don't want to buy anything in the first 5 days, and you ideally don't want to buy anything in the last 3 to 5 days, because there is panic hype at the start and panic FOMO at the end. Where at the start, people are just excited, they want to see all the new stuff, see the new vanities, yada yada yada, and then by the end, people are like, oh my god, I don't want to miss out on this vanity. It's so cool. I'm just gonna sell everything and spend why would buy or whatever. There's a lot of panic FOMO and a lot of panic buying. Don't do that. Don't be that person. Okay, so wait the first 5 days. Buy investments you want to. Generally sealed product. You can go high risk, high reward with like RP vanities or just vanities in general. But Xmas presents, Santa presents, goodie bags, pumpkin goodie bags, Mysterious balls. I think I've preached it over and over and over again. And at some point, if I preach it enough, people are catching on. The more years that go by, the more information that gets spread, the less good the investment is, because more people are buying in, if that makes sense. More people know to save and make proper financial decisions as opposed to gambling. But also, you know, can gamble if you want to have fun. Mysterious balls are just insane. I always say, so I have I can't even show my investments. I'm on my Iron Man account, but on my main account, you know, I have things like anniversary chests, which I bought for 20 to 30k, and those are now what, 60k a piece, 50k a piece. And I have like 1,300 of those, for example, right? Yeah, there's those. There's things like Mysterious Great Ball 2023s, which Mysterious Great Ball 2023. I bought, oh my god, I bought most of these on my main account for anywhere from 25 to 42k at their highest, 42k. Now they are 92k. These actually, I remember not even last year, 8 months ago, 6 to 8 months ago, these Mysterious Great Balls were 42k. Within 6 to 8 months, they increased 100% in value. That's ridiculous. And I told everybody, I'm very like, I don't hide stuff. I'm not secretive. Like, I told everybody, oh my god, people are panic selling Mysterious Great Balls to buy the new and exciting investment. Don't be that person. I was like, I'm gonna buy up the I'm gonna buy up all the mysterious. It's a guaranteed investment. It will work. It has worked in the past. They dropped to 42k. I was like, these are one of the lowest shiny rate mysterious balls in PokeMMO. They give really good shiny odds. I bought a whole new batch of them for 42k a piece, and now they're 93k, 92k a piece. So just be patient, be smart, keep eye on a few items. Don't panic sell, don't panic buy, don't sell your investments to buy the new exciting one that's almost never worth it. You want to buy, if anything, you want to buy. If anything, what I recommend is you want to skip a year of investment. So this year, it's very likely that when the new event season comes out, people will be panic selling last year's and previous events and items. If I were you, I'd recommend looking out for those price drops on Mysterious Great Balls, on any Mysterious Balls, on Premier Balls, on last year's goodie bags, on last year's. If those prices drop, you should buy them up and then use that as your investment as opposed to always getting this year's, right? Now, if you want to make investments in PokeMMO, yeah, just buy low, sell high, sell low, buy high, correct? Yeah, exactly. Dig your brain. If you want to make investments in PokeMMO, you gotta use PokeMMO Hub, okay? It is a really, really good website that lets you track your investments. You can straight up see. I can actually go over to mine. Here, let me show really quick on stream. I know I'm in the middle of a gym run, but we can see browser. Let's get this up for you guys. Here are my Pokemon investments, for example, right? You can see there's only some of them, obviously. I don't track everything, but like the reason this is I think this is just last year's event season investments, if that makes sense. So this is within the last year's event was in October, so it's been 8 months. Within the past 8 months, I have gained 80 million Pokeyen by just sitting on my ass doing nothing, right? This is how you get rich in PokeMMO. Do Jimmy runs, make your initial capital, make money, make investments. 102% gain is ridiculous. This is insane, right? I spent 77, which is a lot of Pokeyen, right? Took me years to get that. 77 mil and turned it into 156 mil. This is very consistent. Yeah, that's all I can say is it's very consistent. It's very good to do. Mysterious Great Balls up 121%. Pokeballs 129. This is ridiculous. This is just, it's the most broken way to make money in PokeMMO's investments. I try to always tell people to do it. It's you gotta make good investments, but it's really broken, man. It's not foolproof. No investment is 1000% safe. You might, especially vanities. Vanities can be really risky. Most sealed product, if you buy at the bottom out price, is a decent investment usually. But yeah, make money, do Jimmy runs, make capital. Event season is where people's Pokemon's lives are changed. Why don't you insta-release shitty Pokemon like that Raticate when you catch them to preserve box space? The real answer is, so if I'm catching like during catch events, it's like save time, like don't worry about it. The real answer is, does that mechanic work nowadays? Because for like the past 2013 to the past 11 years I've been playing PokeMMO, that doesn't actually work. You know this if you ever try to like catch a Pokemon and then take an item off of it while it's still in the PC, you actually can't do that, but even though it gives you the option. I think they eventually updated it. Yeah, I think you can actually release a Pokemon in your PC from this screen now when you catch it. That didn't work for a very long time, but I think nowadays it does work. So the real answer is my boomer brain isn't used to that, which is very funny. Now I just got a really good Ditto. 31 speed, out of it nature. That'll be a fantastic breeder. Breed it with a 31 attack Pokemon. Get a 2x 31 out of it Pokemon. Boom, boom, there we go, dude. Hell yeah. Yeah, I feel like this would just be like a no-brainer. Another no-brainer, like positive addition to the game. Do you think the devs could add a linking cord? It's an item from Pokemon Legends Arceus to evolve Pokemon that evolve by trading. Yeah, they already updated it so that you can use things like metal coats to evolve Scizor. You can use like dragon scales. A lot of Pokemon that used to like you would put an item on it and then trade to evolve, they've changed it to where you just use it on it, which is nice. But full trade evos, things like Gengar, Conkeldurr, stuff like that, you still have to trade. And it's funny, like trade evos actually suck up a lot of the PokeMMO staff members' time, because community managers, and as they should, but like community managers will help new players trade their Kadabras into Alakazams for like the storyline runs. If someone gets scammed on that, like if they get scammed over like a 80 total IV Kadabra, it happens. It's pretty rare, but it happens. That sucks up support request time, and like, it's really silly. I would love something like a link cord or a link cable or whatever it is in Gen 9, right? That would just allow us to do that. Yeah, make it a Pokeyen sync. It could be a buyable item from Pokemart. It could be a random item in a sealed product. Yeah, like I think it needs to be cheap enough to where like even if it's like 5K or 10K, because there's things like that where like it could be cheap but still sync Pokeyen, but it needs to be. Because if it's too expensive, no one's going to use it. They're just going to go trade someone or whatever. But you should pay for that convenience, right? Do people get scammed that often? Not really on storyline mons, but it does happen. The most commonly scammed thing is on Ditto boxes in PokeMMO. And even that's like pretty rare. I've bought like 40,000 Dittos, for example. And I've only been scammed twice. And one time, I think maybe once. Yeah, maybe once. Once or twice. I forget how many. I've only been scammed once or twice, over 40,000 Dittos for reference. Very, very rare, but it does happen. And scamming is bannable, so if someone does scam you, if you make sure you log. I have a video covering this in great detail, so please watch, Google and watch videos, but I have a video called like how to not get scammed in PokeMMO, and it's essentially every time I do a Ditto box trade, I whisper to the person, hey, I'm trading you 300K for a Ditto box, correct? And then you don't trade until they say yes or correct or confirm. And as long as you have that confirmation whisper, it's pretty impossible to get, got, because if they got you, what happens, I need to switch bonds here. Oops. If they got you, what happens is, then they just get banned. So like, it's not, worth it. Ditto box, what's that? A Ditto box is a box of 60 bad IV Dittos used for rare shiny hunting. The fastest way to shiny hunt things like Charmander, Beldum, these like really, really rare shinies in the wild is just to breed Dittos over and over again. It's very expensive. You don't want to do it. It's just like the best option, even though it sucks. It costs 180 mil now. It's gotten more expensive. It's like 180 million Pokeyen cost sunken away out of your account. Per egg shiny hunt on average. You could go drier, you could go, and then it also takes like 2,000 hours. It's like 2,000 hours and 180 mil. That's why egg shinies are so respected, because they're so insane. Pat, do you think Kyogre will ever be a catchable roaming legendary? I don't think so. I think Kyogre is. Now, I obviously don't have genuine traditional Pokemon PvP experience for the most part. I would bet Kyogre is broken based on Scarf specs, water spout. I think Kyogre is too broken. The way that it does everything that it does, Kyogre hasn't, I believe Kyogre's probably, I could check, but probably been Ubers in like every PvP tier. Every season it's been allowed, we might guess, or like very close to Ubers. I think Kyogre would be absolutely busted in PokeMMO in a totally broken up way. And not only would it, the problem is, not only would it be broken in PvP, but it would also be busted in PVM. A lot of people, when they hear that their favorite Pokemon, the legendary Kyogre would be broken in PvP. Oh, just ban it in PvP. That solves all the problems. No, it doesn't. It still breaks it in storyline runs, still breaks it in PVM, breaks it in raids, and breaks it for all future planned content, like future raids or dungeons perhaps, or like. You cannot have a Pokemon be broken in a Pokemon MMO. In a single player game, it's okay if it's broken, right? In an MMO, it fucks the economy. It breaks the economy is the problem. When you have an economy that relies on balance, it changes the way everything is thought about. So you can't have Kyogre in PokeMMO, at least like in a permanently. You could have Kyogre maybe in like a Darkrai orb way. The problem is most players don't like, they fucking hated the Darkrai orb. So the only way to get Uber tiers legendaries in the game is to only be able to own them temporarily or like use them at a severe cost, but players don't seem to like that. So I just don't think we'll see Uber powerful things like Kyogre almost ever, if just not in a very, 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 very long time in PokeMMO. We got some really good examples in chat. Someone actually brought up, so I always tell people, I always try to, you can't add something that's broken in PvP and then just ban it in PvP, because generally it's also broken in PVM, but not always. Someone brought up Incineroar. Incineroar could get added to PokeMMO and then just nerfed or banned in doubles, because Incineroar, from my understanding, is really only broken. It's very broken in doubles, but it's really only broken in doubles. Incineroar wouldn't be broken in PVM or in raids or in even singles PvP, from my understanding. Probably quite good there, but not like broken. Incineroar really shines in VGC format and in doubles. It wouldn't actually be broken in PVM, which is a pretty cool example. Someone else brought up legendary Pokemon that would be like broken in PvP, but maybe not broken in PvM. People with the Lati twins. Latios and Latios are broken in PvP without fairy types because they can do too many things. You don't know if they're going to be calm minding. It could be calm minding with like heal with like leftovers or whatever. They could be soul dew. They could be specs Draco Meteor. They could be, there's so many things they could do, and it's too good. When a Pokemon does a million things at the best level, that's where things get broken. That's why Garchomp is like arguably there sometimes. The Laddies might not be, I don't know enough. I don't have a strong opinion on that. They might not be broken in PvM because their strength comes from their versatility. Would Draco Meteor dropping in PvM be too broken? I don't know. I'm not sure. I have no idea, honestly. It might be too good. I'm not sure. I'm glad people like Hyam Rainer can weigh in. Hyam Rainer is like a PvM gym rerun or maybe current Jimmy Run speedrun world record holder. Rainer says Latias with 110 base speed and their buff move pulls from newer gens would be insane for Elite 4 reruns in PokeMMO. It's not something the average player thinks about, but yeah, you can't break Elite 4 reruns, trainer reruns, gym reruns. Like, you have to be balanced, or it fucks the economy. So I appreciate you speaking up. Now, the better example that I've seen in chat, I think is Cresselia. Cresselia is a great example where Cresselia is really good in PvP, super tanky, super annoying. Cresselia surely wouldn't be a problem in PvM, right? Because it's so tanky. Even if it's like really good and tanky, generally non-offensive Pokemons are not broken in PvM because it's the length of the battle balances it out. If you could guaranteed beat the Elite Four every time in a rerun, but it takes like 20 minutes or it takes like an hour per Elite Four, that's fine. That's not broken because it takes so long to like set up and yada yada, right? Cresselia might be one of the perfect examples would be really good in PvP, so you could just ban it there if you need to, but it'd be fine in PvM. So a lot of people always give the arguments of, oh, if something's broken, and just ban it in PvP and it's fine, but that's almost never the case. But there are some that are the case, so it's good to talk about those niche examples. Yeah, the Reggie Trio is one that I've talked about forever. The Reggie Trio is one of the easiest. Like, they would not be broken in PvP and would not be broken in PvM. The Reggie Trio is just, kind of a joke. Laughing stock of Legendaries, unfortunately, for better or for worse. I am very in favor of just add the Reggie Trios. They might want to do like a raid boss with them, though, similar to Heatran, which is really cool. So it depends. Are support mons ever the problem? It's a good question. Well, in Incineroar, some support mons can be problems in PvP for sure, but are support mons ever busted in PvM? I don't know. I think almost never, because once again, the time. Like, even if a support mon is really good in raids, like Prankster Murkrow setting up Tailwind, right? Or like Screens Sableye, you're spending time, and as long as you're not like, blasting through raids within 2 minutes or beating Elite Four reruns in 10 minutes, like that's where things get broken, is like doing things very quickly and consistently in an MMO, because then you're making Pokeyen faster than ever, and it can break the economy, especially if it's a pure yen method like Jimmy runs, Elite Four reruns, etc., etc. So good conversation today, good calls from chat. Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I play PokeMMO like 6 hours a day. I didn't even know that Jirachi plus Follow Me was banned. A lot of people don't check the matchmaking sign up bans list. For those who don't, let's do a quick little update. The Moody ability is just straight up banned from PvP. This creates too many problems. Where you can like get like accuracy lowers or whatever, or raises. You can do like some evasion. Moody allows for evasion spam if you get lucky, which is just really dumb. So it allows for like annoying evasion strategies to work. Shaman Skyform is banned from all tiers of PvP. Jirachi plus Follow Me specifically is banned. Acupressure as a move, I wonder if it's just bugged. I don't know what that does, honestly. Arena Trap and Doug Trio is banned from all tiers. Sharpness plus Gallade is banned. Why Shaman? Sky Shaman's busted. You can't, it's too broken. It's too powerful, straight up. Heavy Duty Boots is currently banned in PvP. I think they added it somewhat recently. They still want to do some like testing before. I would love to see it unleashed and see how it does, but I'm not a PvP player, so grain of salt. Draco Meteor and Hydreigon and Garchomp Swords Dance are all banned as well. Yeah, those are all the bans right now. If you go check in game, well, people, why is there a ban list? There kind of is a ban list. It's not like the Ubers tier. There was Ubers tier in the past. Actually, someone moody. Gotcha. In the past, there was an Ubers tier actually. Back in like 2013 when I played, 2014. It's funny. Things like, dude, the Uber tier used to consist of Pokemon like Snorlax, which is what now UU? Like Snorlax, Tyranitar, Dragonite, Wobbuffet, Dugtrio. These were all Uber's Pokemon at times, which is really funny to think back on. Wobbuffet was a big one where they like couldn't balance Shadow Tag until they eventually made it so that Shadow Tag only lasts 3 turns, and that made it more balanced. I'm fucking up my Ditto farm, whoopsie. But yeah, there's been an interesting history to Pokemon in terms of like the Uber's tier and ban lists like that. Hi, I'm sending this chat again. I joined late on the stream, but about the Uber Legend talk, I've been theorizing that possibly Darkrai could be used as the main sweeper in the Pumpkin fight. Just theories so far. Obviously, yeah, the event's not here. If it doesn't work, then Darkrai was their failed introduction to summoning orbs, as I feel like Uber Legendaries should have a niche in the game. Yeah, I totally agree. I like the idea of Darkrai. We just need a piece of content that it's really good for. I super agree. That would be amazing. That'd be like the best news if Darkrai is also, it's perfect timing because Darkrai is achievable during the Halloween event. It'd be amazing if Darkrai is the meta for the same event that it's in, like the pumpkin boss. That'd be, especially like hard mode. That'd be cool, man. I would love to see that. So ideal. That's ideal. I'd love to. I'm excited to see this year. Darkrai's been in the game for less than a year, right? Like, I'm excited to see what he's capable of this holiday event season. All right, and speaking of locking in and running out of time, I think that's what I'm gonna go ahead and call for today, fellas. A nice little 4-hour stream, not too long, not too short, following up on streaming for a lot on Saturday and Sunday for that 24-hour catch event. So hopefully you guys still enjoyed, had a fun Monday stream recap. Like the video if you enjoyed it, dislike if not, subscribe for daily Pokemon videos I upload every single day over on YouTube. On Twitch, I am live Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET. Discord's down, linked below if you want to see whenever I'm live and see updates to my content and just meet some really cool people who also love this game. And if you want to go above and beyond and support the content, YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, PayPal, and Venmo donations. But number one is Factor. If you want to be the coolest guy in my community, support me the most and get yourself some delicious food. If life is busy, if you work really hard, you know, if you're all over the place, Factor saves you time, saves you money, saves you grocery trips, saves you gas, saves you dishes and cooking, and, you know, gets you nutrition and lets you eat comfy meals without dying at the age of 40 from TV dinners. Check out Factor. First link in the description. You can get 50% off your first Factor box. With that deal, it's legit worth trying, in my opinion. If you want to cancel after that, more power to you. With the 50% off, it's hard to go wrong, man. That deal is so good. It's well worth it, in my personal opinion. Check out Factor. Link in the description. I'll be seeing you guys later. Have a great day. Have a good one. Go look on your legendary hunts. Peace, Reno. Yo, Patrouski here, and I wanted to thank you personally for watching the video until the very end. I really appreciate that. And if your name is on this list, thank you to the moon and back, because you allow me to even make these videos by supporting the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.